Hey everybody! It's day 5 of the Change Your Life Now program, and we're going to talk about reverse engineering. Emotional fulfillment is a byproduct of doing hard work that feels rewarding and results in seeing tangible progress towards our goals. When you have a big picture vision, it can be difficult to determine where to start in bringing it to life. You know where you want to go, but how do you get there? Easy! Start at the end. That's right, start with the big picture and work your way backwards to figure out how to get from where you are now to where you want to end up. Do you ever want to know how something worked so you took it apart? That's kind of how reverse engineering works, except your parents don't yell at you and tell you how much a toaster costs. But I digress. You start with the finished product and work backwards to see what the components are and how it's put together. So, we're going to put together a roadmap to get you started, but stay open to detours. These unexpected detours could be the gold you didn't expect to find at that point on your journey, and these may completely change the direction entirely. But you have to get a loose plan of action to get started. We need a desired destination so that we don't end up running in circles because we don't have any idea what our end goal is, or what direction to even start moving toward. First and foremost, why are you doing this? We need to determine what it is that we ultimately want to accomplish. How do you want to feel, and what do you ultimately want to accomplish? Are you seeking time freedom? Financial independence? Would you just like more peace and balance in your daily routines? Better health and feeling more vitality? Hold these emotions as your ultimate destination as you move towards your big vision. This allows you to be more open to the detours that may in fact be exactly what you desire. But in order to get you moving in that direction, you had the initial big vision. Make sense? There are times when the universe will light a fire under our ass just to get us moving, and the path becomes more clear as we make the journey. If we deadlock on a specific outcome, we could miss the thing that will actually bring our desired results. So the goal is just to get ourselves pointed in the right direction, determine actions to take to get us off our ass and get started, and then stay open to possibilities as they present themselves. To give you a good example of how this can play out, let's talk about Post-it notes for a minute. Dr. Silver was a 3M scientist, and he was trying to develop bigger, stronger, tougher adhesives. Instead, he developed an adhesive that stuck lightly but didn't bond tightly. Initially, this would be considered a failure, but Dr. Silver was intrigued. He had discovered something called microspheres, which are sticky but remain removable. Dr. Silver spent years trying to figure out a practical application for this new discovery, with no luck. Until another 3M scientist, Art Fry, was frustrated with the scraps of paper he used in his church hymnal always falling out when he tried to mark the songs he was going to be singing in the church choir. Fry remembered attending Silver's seminar about the microspheres and had what he refers to as a eureka moment. Fry and Silver worked together, and the Post-it note was born. We all know the power of the Post-it note. Can you imagine if Silver had just scrapped the idea because it wasn't what he was trying to create? Kids everywhere would forget their lunch. There would be meetings missed and appointments overlooked. Far fewer love notes and lunches, and we wouldn't have the satisfaction of completing a task, ripping the Post-it note off our desk, and throwing it in the trash. You may not be as endeared to Post-it notes as I am, but nevertheless, it absolutely shows the power of embracing the detours. If Dr. Silver had been stuck on his original vision and not paused to see what he could do with this failure, we wouldn't have Post-it notes. When we reach milestones in our journey, these are excellent times to pause and reflect on our progress, evaluate perceived failures, and redirect as necessary. Redo your roadmap as these detours come in, and embrace the unexpected stops along the way. You may end up somewhere way better than your original destination. Okay, let's get into the meat of this topic. First things first. Where are you going? You can have all the drive and motivation in the world, but without a destination, you're running on a treadmill. A lot of motion, but you're not going anywhere. What is your big vision? And some important questions to answer for yourself are, why am I pursuing this goal? What is my motivation, and what do I wish to accomplish? Answering these questions establish our objective and the motivation behind it, our why. If you remember, having a big enough why is what helps us maintain the other components of discipline, commitment, and consistency. So this is a really important question. Next, what is my timeline or desired time frame for achieving this goal? This gives us a framework on what steps need to be taken, how soon we need to take them, and can determine choosing one route over another. If you're in a hurry, you don't take the eco-leaf route on your Maps app. You take the fastest route available right now. Once we've established our why, defined our expectations, and laid out a rough timeline, it's time for the fun stuff. Reverse engineering. We may have to adjust our timeline as we work through these steps, but that's not a bad thing. It gives us a realistic idea of how long it may take to reach our desired goal, and it'll help ward off the frustration of thinking a 3-year project would only take 6 months. We're doing ourselves a massive favor by being realistic in this process. Step 1 is determining what it will actually take to reach the goal. It could be money, acquiring new skills. There may be some logistical elements that come into play if you're looking at starting a business with a lot of moving parts. Write down every aspect you can think of. This part of the process will require both self-reflection and some research to get an accurate big picture of all the elements it will take to reach your goal. If you're not really sure what those elements are, take the toaster apart. Talk to people who are in the industry that you're interested in. Make a formal request to job shadow, or volunteer if that's a possibility in your field of interest. Get in the trenches and see how that shit works. You all know I'm all about learning from people who are where you want to be. Study their mindsets, their lifestyle, their personal strategies and success formulas to help you shape your list of requirements to get there. What was their path? What skills do they have that you haven't acquired yet? What do they do that you do not? These will be part of the components that you list as things needed to reach your goal. Once you have the list of necessary components, we have to figure out how to acquire them. Each component gets broken down into its own category. If you need education, where do you get it? How much does it cost? And how long will it take? If the answer you find doesn't match your idea of reasonable, branch off that category for other options. Can you do an apprenticeship? Are there free training opportunities available? Can you get hired at entry level in a place that will train you with the skills you need? Get creative about utilizing resources and finding unique ways to achieve your goal that may be outside the box, but much more streamlined than traditional methods. An example from my life is that at one time I was interested in running a coffee shop. The only problem was that I had no experience in the food service industry, no clue what it would take to run a coffee shop on the front end, the back end, or anywhere in between. I was a manager in the security industry at that time and decided to see if I could use my experience to get hired and trained in food service management. It made sense to me to get paid for my education instead of paying for it and get educated in the trenches, if you will, and it would be so much faster than a traditional college education. So I got a job as a manager at a mid-grade steak franchise. In 6 months, I knew about inventory, food safety, scheduling, prep, menu diversity, front of the house, back of the house, how to run the budget, scheduling, staffing, all of it. Bam! Immersive course in how to operate a food service business, top to bottom in 6 months. I got paid for my education, and guess what? I hated it. I hated it with a passion. No coffee shop. But I also wasn't paying off thousands of dollars in student loans. I'd learned valuable new skills. I mean, you should see how quick I can clear the dinner table now. And I just went back to managing security. So think about how you can achieve each mini goal that came out of your big goal. Put a timeline on it, and then break it down even further into steps, tasks, and actions on the timeline. For example, had I decided to continue pursuing the coffee shop as my goal, I would have been looking for a location for the coffee shop while I was in my 6-month immersive training. This would have been another mini goal to take action on at the same time that I was completing the training. I would need to create a budget for my location, my supplies, startup expenses, staffing, and get all of this pulled into a business plan so that I could get financing from a financial institution or private investors. All of these parts moving at the same time, with action steps and timelines for each one to come together at my desired timeline. Every mini goal would be walked backwards to, what's the first step? So no matter how big or how small your vision or goal is, break it down into actionable steps that get you to the starting line. First step is fill in the blank. Then, take that step. Start. Focus on the small steps, the daily consistent action. If your timeline changes, that's fine. Just don't give up. Keeping a reasonable timeline will help reduce frustration and maintain your motivation. If anything, err on the side of taking longer than you need to when planning your steps. Be realistic, and don't get frustrated if it's not going as quickly as you'd like. Trust that there's a reason for the delay, and it's going to work in your favor. Sometimes the delays are the biggest blessings we never saw coming. If you keep taking the steps on the mini goals, you'll reach the destination of the big goal as all the smaller components come together and are put in place through those consistent daily actions. Commit to taking action on at least one thing every day. If it's education, making phone calls, doing research, visiting locations, just one action a day is going to keep you moving in the direction of your goal and keep it alive in your mind. Track your progress and be sure and celebrate each milestone. You found your location? Celebrate! You got an investor? Celebrate! These milestones are also excellent places to pause and review. Review your plan. Has anything changed with the new information? Do you need to adjust your timeline? Do all of your mini goals still align with the new acquisition? Reverse engineering helps you pinpoint what's necessary so you can focus on what steps to take first, prioritize and organize the whole process in smaller, more manageable boxes, track your progress, and have a big picture view with small steps to bring it together. This helps you stay patient as you see the big picture, track the progress you're making with the smaller steps, and see that things really are coming together. Your abilities will grow exponentially as you learn new skills to meet the requirements in each aspect of your big vision. That's part of the reason that the passing time is less important than the process of becoming that you're undertaking. No matter what the outcome of the big vision, you will be a different version of you on the other side. You will have developed a new belief in yourself, your abilities, and your intestinal fortitude, and that is priceless. So, run that big vision of yours in reverse, get it down to first steps, and then get started. Commit to yourself. Discipline yourself to show up and take consistent, intentional action, and you will achieve your greatest desires. And again, they may not look like that original big vision, but they'll be even better. And you'll be a stronger, more resilient version of you for having gone through the process, and you'll have developed the skills and abilities that you need to maintain what you've grown. So overall, this journey through pursuing our goals and our visions is more about who we become than it is about what we create. So that's why we never fail. We just learn. And along the way, we become stronger for it. So enjoy your journey. I hope this helps. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I will talk to you soon.